Hey everybody, Jeff here again with Chief Classics, and today we're picking up this 1964, we think is a 64, Oldsmobile 98 4-door hardtop. Like I said, we know absolutely nothing about it. We didn't even know what year it was until we got here. We bought a handful of cars from this fella. This one's the most in the way right now, so we're going to start with it. It looks clean. Let's dig around in it and see what we can find. No plates on it, so we can't really tell when it was last parked. We got the wide whites. We've got skirts for this thing. We've got, looks like the hubcaps inside. Looks pretty clean. Looks like that door flew open a little too far one time. So I got grilled in the comments on the last video because I didn't state what color the car I was working on was. And this car, as you can see, is brown. It's cream. It's kind of the color of those old lady compression stockings. So I don't want to get any crap for that again, okay? There we are. Olds 98, we think is a 64. Look at these crazy body lines here. Isn't that nuts? That looks kind of like a square body Chevy pickup. I wonder if that's where they got the styling from. Oh, we've got a car cover. That's probably home to some critters. We have a new muffler. There's one skirt. What's this thing? Big piece of trim. Oh, this is the trim for the back here. Cool. We got that. We got a power antenna. No spare. Everything looks really dang clean inside though. Oh, broken taillight. We're gonna get pulled over for sure. Snow tires. My gosh, look at those things. Studded snow tires even. Holy crap. Here in the pictures, I always thought this was a vinyl top, but it's not, it's painted, which I think I prefer to vinyl. We got some plush door panels. Check it out. Hardtop, no pillar in between the windows. We got cigarette lighters, we got ashtrays, we got power windows. Oh man, look, the kids used to smoke. The kids were smoking Marlboros back here. A new U-joint on the floor. I hope that's not a sign. I can't tell if there's a drive shaft in it or not. Oh gosh. Okay, there is a drive shaft in it. Thank the Lord. Check it out. This sucker is plush, man. It's too bad the top of the seat got sun-baked. Ooh, it's cracky. But man, this sucker is good. What do you think this is for, huh? Where does this go? Is this our hot wire switch? I don't know. We don't have a key, but we've got you know, about 20 feet of 12-2 wire going into the engine bay. What is that? That is AM. Ooh, we've got air too. Is this a inside hood release or is it outside? Can you tell? Outside. It's outside. We got tilt. It's got the safety sentinel speedometer, the speed minder. We got all our master switches back there. We've got the seat controls on the door panel. Check this out. That looks like seat controls, doesn't it? Heck yeah. Ooh, we got some gas, some oil. Somebody had plans here. Ooh man, I can smell that gas too. Looks like a clean old bus though. Son of a gun. We may not regret this after all, huh? Can we see where that 12-2 wire is going? Does it come into here? Oh yeah, here it is. So this goes to nowhere. Okay. What size are these suckers? Are these 394s? These are the super high comp. It's the Rocket 394. So we got a Carter under here probably. No, yeah. We've got the early style Carter, like what was on the 409s. Yeah, there's our air. We've got power steering, power brakes. We got a clutch fan, so we don't know if it turns over or not. Also can't tell if there's water in there. Where's our dipstick? There we go. It's got oil, looks full. Smells old, smells like fuel. Not bad though, eh? Seems complete. I've got hope for it. It's got one tire that's down. The rest of them are hanging in there, it seems. So we'll see if we can get this sucker aired up and get them on the trailer. Oh shoot, I don't know if we've got, I don't think we've got hubcaps that match the front. I think we got played. Are they in the back? I don't know. Figure it out later. It matters not. All right, let's see if we can get that tire aired up. We're gonna try to get them on the trailer. Hey, check it out. These are Coker Classic tires. These were high dollar tires at one point. Yeah. Let's try to help all of our chances and get the foliage out of the bead as well as we can. Of course, the valve stem's clear down at the bottom. I got faith though. The front tires at least look like they're from the last 20 years. Not looking good. Let's help it out a little bit. Nope, guess not. We got the handyman jack up to levels of peril, and then we zipped around, found another wheel with a good tire on it. I just don't think there was any hope for this poor fella. Oh man, it knows. Looks like we're rolling everywhere though. Things are looking good. What a monster. That's a 24-foot trailer. All right, throw her in park. Yeah, all the wheels spun now. It's like it sat in its home for a few days. Not far down enough to lay any exhaust or drive shaft on the ground. Looks like we may have a rear main leak. It's decent. It's not great, but it's decent. We've got exhaust. I do see a drive shaft in there. Yeah, the rear main area is pretty, it's pretty wet. New muffler though, golly. All right, we'll get him tied down and get gone. Well, another day, another dirty, derelict car in the backyard. All right, first things first. Did we check the oil? I don't remember. We did. I think it has oil. I think. I'm sure that these are going the wrong direction. Yes, if only I could read. Okay, there we go. It's not like I just took the old battery out 5 seconds ago. All right, ground. And let's see if we can get our positive cable wrestled out. Oh man, there we go. Fun fact on these old GMs. So we've got 2 wires going down to the starter. We've got the main lead wire. We've got this nifty purple wire. There's usually a connector for the purple wire near this junction right here. So you just disconnect that purple wire and then run your jumper switch to the lead that goes down to the starter. Put the other side of the switch on the power lug and it should turn. All right, sounds like we might have less compression on one hole. I think we can live with it. There's that cute little Carter I was talking about. Oh, look what we got here. We've worked on this before. So this goes, okay, that's that toggle switch inside must have been for. Well, we can deal with that. Except we almost definitely don't have a working fuel tank. Well, we need to figure out our ignition because we don't have a key, so we'll do the right thing. Oh my gosh, how many times are we gonna trip over that? And we will run a jumper from our battery to the positive side of our coil, wherever that's hiding. Tell you what, Oldsmobile must never have intended us to work on these things because there's nowhere to put tools up front. Good, bad, or otherwise. All right, there's our coil. Get that out of the way. All right, it looks like, so that's our positive side. Positive side is the one with that condenser. Is that what it is? A condenser on it? It looks like somebody already got this thing running for us once. Give it some juice. And then we won't put that on quite yet. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. All right, we'll put our spark tester in line. With somebody messing with this lately, I've got a little bit of hope here. Just a little bit. All right, hit it. Oh, I hear this helps. Now hit it. Nothing. Okay, take that off. We'll get our distributor cap off and we will see what lays underneath. It looks like this thing's had a tune-up in this millennia, at least. Oh, we have either a broken or chewed well, several wires, that is. Okay, let's not put the cart before the horse here. I'm gonna get some more wires and then we'll try it. You might remember these horrible yellow wires from movies such as 1966 Pontiac 2+2 gets a 421 swap or something like that. Well, our coil wire was broken, so we had that going for us. This will be the first order business. Get these dang dirty cobwebs out. I really need to hot glue a GoPro to my head. Round two, fight. Where does this thing always run off to? Oh, this thing is ruined. Ruined. I need a new one. We'll just go straight to the battery with you. We'll just go alligator clip on alligator clip. Oh my Lanta. Still nothing. Okay, now we'll actually take the cap off and see what lays underneath. Let's see if we can see spark. Nope. So we'll get out our points file. We got power down here. Oh my gosh, do we have power? We'll just flick them around a little, get them excited. Now it sounds like we do. Yeah, they're kind of sending power all over the place, but we're gaining. So I disconnected our hot wire, and we're gonna go to our points here, and we're gonna get our file in there. We're gonna clean them up. Smack them around a little. Try to get all the junk out from in between them. There we go, that was a good one. All right, let's hook up our wire again. Why am I breathing hard? How old am I? What day is this? Now we'll hit it and see what happens. It's not clean spark, but it's spark. All right, let's put the system back together. I've got a brand newish rotor that I'm gonna put in, and then we can check for spark in line. I'm not trying to get carried away with this sick build here or anything, but we took off the brand newish cap rotor and plug wires off that 66 2+2 because the new engine had an HEI system in it, and I opted to just use that. So we didn't need any of this stuff anymore. So this is a good home for it. All right, I'll get our cobweb out of there and flip you back down. That thing's gonna fight us. Oh my gosh, what else are we caught up on? Everything. You gotta find the alignment notches for your cap. Oh, don't go too far, Mr. Screwdriver. And then put your bail clips back on. Blam. We'll just put that wire back on, retrieve our fallen screwdriver, redo our points, find our switch that we lost again. Now let's check. No. Oh, it helps if you hook your coil wire back up. I think that's far enough in. All right. There we go. Cool. So I think all of our plug wires on this side were good. It's the other side that's broken. So we still have the... Oh no, do we have a new plug wire or firing order? We do. 18736542. This is still number one. So let's find where he's at. Number one, the closest one to us. Nice. 1, 8, which is broken. So we need an 8 length wire, which is gonna be probably the second from shortest one on here, but these are pretty long, so we'll just take the shortest one. We only have to go from there to there. All right, we'll come over here to 8, which is on the passenger side, on the very back. All right, wire came apart in one piece. That's excellent news. Get that wrestled in. Unless, of course, I guess I don't know which direction this goes. Okay, let me figure out which direction the rotor turns, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, yeah, just like Pontiac, counterclockwise. So 1, 8, 7, 3, 6. This must be 6 then. All right. Yep. Nope. Yep. 6 is broken. Boy, a lot of them are broken. So we need another short one for 6. I hope to the good Lord we're doing this right. I think so. All right, so we've got our 6 wire. We'll go down here with you. Okay. One, 8, 7, 3, 6, 5. What comes after 5? 4. Is that one broken too? The rest of them look okay. All right, this is the fun part now. We're putting gas in this thing already. Let me go get some fuel, fill up the bowl, and we'll see what happens. So today we're drinking on 90, 91. Mixed with some 40-to-1. Give it a little upper cylinder lubricant. And then we'll fill all our vent tubes in our carburetor. I'm gonna try not to flood it. I understand that it's gonna need a lot of fuel to begin with, but we got fuel coming out the accelerator pump already. That's awesome. That's what you want to see. But I think I'm getting most of it in there. We'll know once it starts leaking out of the bottom of the carburetor. We'll go to the back, get the back bowl filled as much as we can. You know, what are these carbs called? Is this like a Carter WC? Is that correct? I can't remember exactly. I rebuilt one, what was it, a year ago now, on a 64 Impala 409, which we still have laying around. You may have seen that in other videos. I can't get a whole lot into this front one. It doesn't want to flow that well, so that must mean that it's full. I don't know. All right, hook up our points. Hit it. Ah, that smells like old fuel. This is way too good. Sounds pretty good out back. Sounds like it has an accelerator pump. Oh, it's gonna run out. That thing's running at like 600 RPMs. Well, 0 now, I guess. Sweet. Well, that's enough of a reason for us to make an attempt to get it inside. Golly, it's like 3 o'clock and it looks like the sun wants to go down already. All right. Well, I guess I'll go to the gas station and get us some more 91. Something just flew square down the intake manifold. How nice. Alrighty, let's get our wits about us here. So we've got this electric pump that's mostly plumbed in, if you consider those piece of junk fill filters plumbed in. We got a mile of ground wire. Where does this even go? Oh, this goes all the way to the battery. Okay. Then what do we do with this guy? So we've got that plumbed to the positive side. Okay, so we've got to go from here, and then I think we can go to this. We've got that switch. I'm just thinking out loud here. We've got that. And then we have this. Yes. To our switch. Okay. This all looks kosher enough. So we just have to run a wire from him to the positive side. I love winch batteries for that reason. All right. How about it? I hear nothing. I love winch batteries for that reason. All right. How about it? I hear nothing. Alrighty, it got about entirely too windy to work outside yesterday. I thought the dang house was gonna blow down, and I just gotta explain something. I'm kind of a normal guy with a semi-normal job. I get pulled a lot of directions throughout my day, which doesn't allow me to put as much time towards these videos as I would like to. So that kind of explains the irregularity. I apologize. I'd like to get better at that in the future. Today, we're gonna throw our gas can in the passenger seat of this Oldsmobile, try to get him inside because it's about 12 degrees out and I don't want to be out here. Alrighty, it got about entirely too windy to work outside yesterday. I thought the dang house was gonna blow down, and I just gotta explain something. I'm kind of a normal guy with a semi-normal job. I get pulled a lot of directions throughout my day, which doesn't allow me to put as much time towards these videos as I would like to. So that kind of explains the irregularity. I apologize. I'd like to get better at that in the future. Today, we're gonna throw our gas can in the passenger seat of this Oldsmobile, try to get him inside because it's about 12 degrees out and I don't want to be out here. All right, got our battery cable in a happy place. Try to get that to stay there. Now let's try it. Yeah, I know the fuel pump's not on right now. We'll turn it on though. If you can run marginally long enough, okay, we're gonna say it's gonna run now, so we'll turn him back on. Oh my gosh, why didn't I put alligator clips on this? Blow by. All right, can we get you to idle? I can hear spark escaping somewhere. Oh my gosh, it smells like an arc welder. This thing wants to high idle itself, which is scary. I didn't even check brakes. Or put antifreeze in it for that matter. I need a high idle stick. Come on, little buddy, you got this. Oh, for crying in the mud. There we go. What can I jam in there that's not flammable? Get you out of the way. We're just cooking years of junk off right now. This is exciting. Pulleys are running good and true. We don't have power steering, but we got an air compressor or an AC compressor. Dang it. Or that belt on that pulley wants to leave in a bad way though. So maybe if I don't touch it, I can get the idle to stay right there. sounds like a bunch of blown out mufflers is what it sounds like. The pedal is hard. I don't know if it's the kind of hard where it works or not though. Neutral, drive. Oh my gosh, it works right now. Okay, I'm gonna let this thing warm up. Let's get some antifreeze in it. We'll pull it inside. So I took the cap off and there's a semblance of what looks like a big old angry chocolate milkshake in there. So we're just gonna kind of forget about that right now and assume everything's working perfectly. Oh, I about fell into the son of a gun fan. All right, make sure you ground all of your alligator clips out on the hood. Literally nothing else on the car is going to be on right now except for the fuel pump and the hot wired ignition. Oh my gosh, this thing, you gotta really wrestle it without power steering. Goodness gracious. But hey, the power brakes are working phenomenally. I hope we're not leaving a trail of gas. Oof to me! My back just popped. We're doing the dang thing though. Boy, at 2 miles an hour you can already tell that these tires are any shape but round. Let's get out of here before somebody decides to get in their car. Oh my gosh. I don't know what that noise is. Nothing should have power right now. So any electrical buzzing noise is immediately considered alarming. I'm gonna park it right here. We'll get one car pulled out so we can get another one pulled in. That's parkish. We're high idling on our own, so that's cool. Thing's got some cheech to it. All things considered, it's running relatively smooth. I just hope I can get the idle to come down. Revs up nice, but the idle always settles in the same spot. So we're really gonna, we didn't bang as bad as I thought I was going to going into gear. Ooh, it's gonna be a 7-point turn getting this thing inside. What if these brakes give out while I'm trying to manhandle this car? I'm just done for. I can't believe it. It has brakes. All things considered, it's running relatively smooth. I just hope I can get the idle to come down. Revs up nice, but the idle always settles in the same spot. So we're really gonna, we didn't bang as bad as I thought I was going to going into gear. Ooh, it's gonna be a 7-point turn getting this thing inside. What if these brakes give out while I'm trying to manhandle this car? I'm just done for. I can't believe it. It has brakes. the little things you can get done while you're talking on the phone. I got the hood lubed up. I got my master topped off. It was about mostly low, but not out yet. So that makes me feel good. And I've got the carb linkage all sprayed down with WD-40. It feels really good now. Let's grab our flashlight and see if we can see any accelerator pump action. All right. Where is our squirters at? Nope, we don't have any accelerator pump. So we're gonna have to get a kit for this fella. So let's top off our chocolate milkshake here. It might just be really, really old coolant, but we're gonna make sure it's got something in there to drink on. And then we're gonna work on our ignition cylinder. We've gotta get the old one out. Whoa, easy! Because, oh no. Do we have a leak? Or was that just when I spilled? I think it's just when I spilled, so I'm gonna keep committing to this. Oh, it's full. Okay. Full enough. We need an ignition cylinder. It'd be really cool to shut the car off with a key. I know. What a concept. So, we've got our torch cleaning kit, which has these really, really stiff files in it. And we need that to push a little hole in the ignition cylinder. I need my light. My light must be in there already. And then the new key fits in the cylinder, but it doesn't turn it. So we're gonna try to use the new key and our little picks here to poke the hole in the cylinder to try to get the old one out. The magic word is 25/64. Just turned all that into shrapnel. Did we heard anything? Do we need that part? I don't think we need that part. I think we gotta fish. Sorry, I think we gotta fish that bottom piece out. Yes. Let me look at the new cylinder. Yeah, okay. So that piece that's left in the bottom there is this piece, this bottom piece off the new one. So, mission failed successfully. All right, I'm gonna try to get that little bottom donger out of there, and then we're gonna be fit to be tied, buddies. It's out. So what we learned today is just drill from the get-go, I guess. Don't try to screw around with anything else. So I think we can now, where's my good keys? Suppose I didn't show you how I got it out. There's this ring that goes on the outside that sucks it into the dash, and there's just a wire connector on the back side. So we'll get our new keys and our new cylinder, wherever those are at. There's new keys. There's new cylinder. All right, new key. And I think we just do one of these. I don't know. Do we need to turn that sucker down at the bottom? Probably. We're probably not getting our alignments correct. Okay, so I gotta try to get that hole in there aligned, and then we can get that shoved in there. Remember how I said task failed successfully? Well, I've got turnage, but I've got no spring detent, and I also can't get the key out. But It works-ish. It's good enough for this car, okay? It's the weekend, it's Friday, it's getting dark. I gotta get this thing out of here so I can get the 2 good cars put back inside. We will resume this Monday. Well, heck, we'll try to fire it up. So we got our pump-a-pumping. I can't really tell if the starter is still... Owie! Yeah, that's hot, Jeffrey. Don't touch that. That was dumb. I was gonna unhook the spark tester. I can't really tell if the starter is still spinning. It doesn't sound like it. That was just the air cleaner lid falling off. Oh yeah, it was still spinning. You gotta bring it back a tick. Do we have any lights or anything? We've got lights. We've got radio. So it kind of stays in the on, starter on position. Let's see if we can not do that. Can we shut it off? We can shut it off. Okay. Let's get rid of our inline sparker tester. Man, that lit me up. I almost said a swear word, but I didn't. Be proud of me. Oh, let me put that on, I guess. Okay, so if the lights on the dash are on, that means the starter is still starting. There's like a 1/16 of an inch where we still have power, but the starter isn't spinning. Cool. We're doing the thing. We got some headlights. That AC or the alternator, it's probably the alternator that's screaming. It's not even really smoking that bad. We don't have taillights, but can't win them all, eh? Yeah, keep that away from your hand, or keep the fan away from your hands, if at all possible. We're about to have a regular old car here, boys and girls. Keep running, baby. Let's get rid of this before I forget it in there, like I did with all the other ones. Okay. Check it out, we even got a little light in the glove box. Plumb spoiled on this one. Yeah, I don't know what's growling. Alternator, the alternator's probably charging. Let's do something crazy like try the air conditioning. Heater, recirculate, normal, high. I guess of course it's gonna be cold, you idiot. It's like 4 degrees outside. Tunage. We got crackling, but we don't have any actual info. The fan is still on. I said turn off. Safety sentinel. We got some gauge lights now. Let's move this seat back if we can. Nope. Oh, there we go. Maybe that way? Nope. Tilt. What does this tilt do, huh? Tilt the seat? Power windows? Oh, it's slow, but it's there. Not bad for no accelerator pump, really. Oh, we should have put a power steering pulley on this thing while we had it inside. It's okay, we're kind of strapped for time and daylight here. Gosh, I really like this thing. This is gonna be a fun driver. Oh, it's like stuck full lock. Oh no. That's probably because our tire's about flat. Good Lord. You probably got to be rolling 90 if you want to be able to throw this wheel around. I am not kidding you. Whew. I didn't think we were gonna make it. What is all this in the alley? Sticks. Can we turn the safety sentinel all the way down to make it scream at us? No, it only goes down to 20. Yeah, we've got a tire that's falling apart. Oh my good golly gosh. We're doing it though. We got a fuel system rigged up. We got some tires on this thing. And we get the trunk lid to shut. We're gonna be rip snorting. The choke is wired open, so I wonder if that has something to do with our high idle. Oh yeah, fuel pump. I think it killed everything else though. Our light's not on in our little glove box anymore. Look at the pretty sunset. It is I almost said magnificent and majestic. Majestic. Okay. We'll undo all our things here. We're gonna call it a weekend. Cool. Can't wait to see what next week holds. Oh my gosh. So we got this old monster to start with a key. We've got that going for us. I got a power steering belt ordered because it's extremely long, like 64 inches long, and they don't carry them. So got one of those on order. The next thing we got to deal with is our fuel system. I really don't like having to do this all the time. So we're gonna start with testing our old fuel pump. We cannot buy a new fuel pump for these things through the parts store, unfortunately, so we're gonna roll the dice with this one. I've got a hose hooked up to it. I got a bottle of water here. Let's fire this thing up and see if we can get that pump to pull water. Things been starting good. You just gotta remember to, you know, turn the key all the way back so it's not engaging the starter anymore. Now hopefully we get a water geyser. I can feel a little bit of suction, not very much though. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna fly. It should be picking up water and it's not. All it's doing is making the diaphragm on the pump wet. Yeah, so it's picking up a little bit, but the pump is shot. That's fine, we can deal with an electric pump. So now the next course of action is trying to figure out just how smelly the tank is. At least the inside of the cap looks nice. The filler neck looks dry. Well, let's see if we can do an evacuation of it. All right, we've got our nifty inline fuel pump. Just see if we can get it to pick up anything. Not sounding like it. So either our tank rusted out or got ran out, which would be nice. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna pick anything up, so let's see what the end of our hose looks like. Looks pretty dry. Okay, well, let's scope it and see what we can see. It's gonna be hard to tell. Heck, it's hard for me to even tell, but it looks shiny in there. I don't see any reason why we couldn't run fuel. Hell with it. Let's do it to it. We'll rig up an inline fuel system or a inline pump and rig it to pull out of the tank. So initially when I got under here, I was worried because I saw that the tank was all wet. And then I realized that we've just got, you know, a muffler pointing directly at it. So we might want to put a turn down on that. What do we got going on here? That probably went to our sending unit at one point. We've at least got hoses on there from this Millennium. They look pretty. Ooh, that one that's coming out of the tank is split, so we won't worry about that one. The rest of the bottom of the car though looks really, really good. I can't believe I'm laying underneath of this monster. Oh, so we just have a rubber line going all the way to the tank. Cool. Check out that nifty green color. I wonder if that green was original or if that's just, ooh, get back under there. Man, look how rigid these frames are. Golly, this thing is stout. This one isn't even touching. I don't know if that's a great or a bad thing. Oh, that's because I don't know how to install jack stands up front. Okay, I'm gonna get out from under here, get all my jack stands on the same level and try again. All right, we're on solid ground now. I'm kind of bummed. I wish the car was still that pretty green color, but it's really clean under here. I guess it probably helps that it was undercoated originally. We've got the Slim Jim transmission, I believe. Not the 315. That's a 4-speed automatic without overdrive, in case you're wondering. They're awful. At least it still works. I don't see brake fluid running out from any wheels, do you? No? Nothing looks terribly wet. That's good. Maybe our brakes will hang in there for us. Cool. All right, so we need to pipeline from the tank and figure out where we want to put our pump. I'm thinking somewhere in this region. Well, I don't know, closer to the tank the better, probably. Boy, this is in a really fun spot. Well, maybe we'll go to the trunk floor then. We can run a wire where this one's coming out of. Maybe we'll get lucky and this is a 12-volt wire. I highly doubt it, but judging by the way it's not arcing on anything, probably not, but let's check just for fun. That would save us a lot of hassle. Check it out, we've got very, very dim power. I'm gonna try cleaning up the end of the wire and see if we can get that to get a little brighter. Right, end of the wire is stripped. It's still not great. Maybe it's my ground. try you. Oh, for crying out loud. I'm only getting like 5 volts. Not to say my ground isn't awful. Come on, give me more than that. My gas tank of ground? Yeah. Same reading, 5.7. Yeah, I can't get more than 5 out of him. Well, I guess we'll just run another wire. It was worth a shot, right? So we are gonna do this the mostly nice way. We've got a post up here coming off of our fuse block, 20 amp fuse that only has power when the key is on, which is exactly what we want. So I'm just gonna take a wire from that terminal and then probably run it, I don't know, somehow under our sill plates, then into the trunk somehow, and then we're gonna go through that grommet in the trunk where that other 6-volt wire is coming out of. All right, let's turn the key on. Hear it? We're in good shape. Well, looky here. It's pulling at least clear fuel already. There's some debris in it, but we got a pre-filter to our other pre-filter, and that thing's pretty quiet, all in all honesty. The configuration looks kind of hokey, mainly because I didn't want to bend and break the old steel fuel lines, but we got everything done on the backside here. Let's get up under the hood and see what we can see. So we've got a line here. We gotta, let's just throw our light on the ground. We got a return, which we don't need. That's just gonna basically act as a vent now. But we've got this line here that goes to parts unknown. That line only looks kind of scary. Well, what the heck, were we pumping fuel here? Yeah, that's fuel. We got fuel up top. Well, it's probably smart of us that we purged the system already. Cool. That makes me feel a lot better. Let's go up here. What are we dealing with? I can't even tell. Gosh, it sounds like there's an elk bugling outside, but I know it's a dog. Let's get this jack out of the way, huh? Ooh, that had a little weight on it. Make sure that you get that to drip in your eye. I can't see nothing. Ooh. There is so much stuff jammed into this car, it's hard to believe. Okay, so there's the metal fuel line down there. So we just have to get from there up to the carb. I'm thinking we're gonna run another filter up here just to catch all the junk that was in the line. Let's do that and then we'll give them a whirl. So while I was running the fuel line, I noticed something I'm usually good at noticing but didn't this time. We got basically a full manifold vacuum leak going on here, which may have a bearing. Ooh, that's really loose. As to why our idle speed is so high. I need a really darn small cap for that. Here we go, here we go, there we are. Okay, so power brake, booster is hooked up. That'd be a big one. It probably wouldn't even start if that one was leaking. What else we got going on here? We got this business that goes, tees off to that vacuum canister reservoir, goes inside. So that runs like the heating and air conditioning vents and that happy stuff. And we got another one that goes to the valve cover breather. Okay, so that's like a old school PCV valve. I think that's it. Wonder where we're getting our vacuum at for our timing. I don't know. But we've got 5 gallons in the tank. We've got our electric pump hooked up. We should be fit to be tied now. We won't need that dangerous thing riding shotgun with us anymore. Come on, buddy. No accelerator pump, mind you. I'll give him a snort. We don't have a geyser coming out of the carburetor yet, so we've got that going for us. No giant puddles that are new. Come on, little buddy. There we go. The idle's a heck of a lot lower now. Oh, I can't wait to rebuild that carb. Haven't used all of it yet. Now I will. Okay. Come on, little buddy, just stay running. It's not that hard. I can't tell if the starter's still on. Well, it wasn't. Okay. That's all I got left. Yeah, that brought the idle down a lot. Cool. You gonna stay running, little dude? I guess there's nothing that little about you. Sounds peachy. Yeah, carb's not overflowing. Let's take a peek under her petticoats and see what we can see. Make sure we're not in any imminent danger here. Oh, looks good. We just gotta get that exhaust pointed away. Man, my tolerance for smoke anymore is just about gone. Sweetness. Cool. This thing's running a lot better now that we got that Vacuum port plugged. Wonder if we should cut that. By all rights, our choke should work because our heat riser is hooked up. Let's see, we got one more thing I want to do to this thing while it's up in the air. We're gonna drop the oil on him. It'll make me feel a lot better. Right, so I don't know what kind of drain plug I'm looking at. Is this really ½ inch? Yeah, it feels that way. Okay. Well, that reduces the need for sockets, I guess. Strange as it may be. We've only got a lot of oil leaks going on. It's fine. Don't look at it. That comes out of there with a vengeance. It's really thin. It's really, really thin. I'm glad that we're doing this. But I'm glad it comes out of there so fast. And I love that it's absolutely flush with the bottom of the pan so that you can get everything out of there. That's cool. And then the filter's in a pretty decent spot too. So go Oldsmobile. I dig it. I think all we have left to do under here is change the oil, and then I'm going to check the differential. And gosh, that's pretty much it. We looked at the brakes already. We don't see leaks anywhere. We don't see fluid running out the bottom of the hubs or anything. Transmission's got a little bit of leak. Maybe it'll heal itself. It probably won't. We're not going to worry about it. But I'm really glad that we changed this oil because it was so incredibly thin. I love how all the old GM vehicles back in these days just all use the same filter part number. 5. Oh, is that a big old black widow that just jumped out of here? That's cool. Hope not. It was a strange looking black spider, but it's dead now. Cool. We'll throw a filter on this thing, fill it back up, and then we'll go out back and check the differential. That's a first. A pre-installed oil filter. Ah, great. Pays to look inside the filter, I suppose. I can't believe that. That's definitely a first. We'll fill this one up, you know, halfway or so. It's sitting at an angle, so we don't want to spill a bunch of it out. Today we're chewing on more mystery 10W30 Havoline, so graciously donated by Dylan at Countryside Repair. We'll get this filter spun on, then fill it up. Just like every other engine, we're going to feed them some zinc. These flat tappet cams need that. There we go. And then we'll put, we'll try 4 more quarts of oil, putting us at 5 quarts plus the zinc. It's either going to be 5 or 6 quarts, so let's start off with 5. Let's go on an archaeological dig here and get the plug cleaned out for this differential. So these differentials were used from, I believe, 55 to 64. Maybe that was just, oh, I think it was all in all this style, all brands, GM and BOP. But I think the BOP ones were bigger. Was this like a 9.3 or something like that? I don't know. Somebody in the comments knows. Yeah, they're kind of a super beefy rear end. I can't remember what size they are, but they've got bearings on the outer end of the axles, so they're like they're not a C-clip rear end. They've got pressed on bearings, so they're stout. Kind of difficult to find gaskets for, but hey, you can make most of these gaskets out of RTV, right? Now we must be a little low. I'll get the 8090 and we'll fill her up. Getting kind of cool out. This 8090 is probably going to flow like molasses. Doesn't look like it's leaking too bad. Well, it's the day after Christmas, and I wanted to say from my family to yours, Merry Christmas to you and your families. We had a great holiday. We got to hang out with both my side of the family, my wife's side of the family. We all had a really good time. And I woke up this morning to some good news pertaining to the channel. I had just passed 1 million views on the channel in less than a year. And I can't tell you guys how much it means to me. All of the views, the comments, the subscriptions, even some of the constructive criticism comments. I'm still learning, okay? I'm not gonna claim to know it all by any means. And I spend a lot of my free time trying to figure out more about these old cars that I'm working on. I'm not trying to make excuses for myself, but I gotta say, as far as these old cars go, I'm young for somebody that works on them, and often if I get hung up on brake troubles or a transmission problem, I don't have a lot of resources when it comes to the early stuff. A lot of it's left to me to figure out on my own, and I don't know of anybody around me, even the professionals, that know a lot about, say, the Delco Moraine brakes or the Slim Jim transmissions. A lot of this is, I've got to figure it out on my own with the help of the manuals that I have. So I appreciate the patience with everybody. All comments have been greatly appreciated. I mean, even the bad ones, they help the traffic on the channel, so I can't complain. But I want to say thank you from me to you for watching. This has really been a big change in my life, and I appreciate every one of you that's watched this. So we're still working on the Oldsmobile. It's parked outside again. We've been doing the car shuffle because it's, kind of gloomy and cool out, and I'm trying to keep all the convertibles inside, but I'm running out of space, as you can see, so I'm having to pull the Oldsmobile in and out every morning, but it's outside right now. So let's go out there, let's grab the carburetor off of it and bring it in to rebuild that sucker so we don't have to keep priming it. There's really not too much going on here. We've got a vacuum line going to our PCV valve. We've got to take our fuel line off. Here is our throttle linkage. That should just pop off. Oh my goodness, there we go. Transmission kickdown's held on by a little pin. We got our fuel line. Now we've got our choke heat riser tube. Either 7/16 or 1/2 inch. That's not hooked up, we don't need to worry about that. And then 1/2 inch for our bolts down there. I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna do, oh, that's not really hooked up to anything, that's fine. I'm not gonna do a full-blown restoration style rebuild on this carb. Main reason is it kind of runs good as it is. We just need an accelerator pump. That's my only complaint. So if we get that handled, this thing's gonna run awesome. It just doesn't have any of that initial squirt that we need in order to start this thing. Oh, so this is just held on by the throttle spring? Okay. There we go. We don't want to lose this little guy. So this throttle spring goes through that hole. Okay, and then it just goes on the outside of the linkage here, and that's what holds the linkage onto that little knob. All right, so we've got our hold down bolts. That's it. There we go. You can see the little pattern of the four-jet. So this looks like it shares a similar pattern with the Carter. You can tell this wall in between the back two is just a little bit thinner than the wall between the front two. So we've got slightly larger secondaries and smaller primaries, which is how those Carters are too. This is really pronounced on the Quadrajets. The Quadrajets are gonna have tiny, tiny primaries and just huge secondaries. They're hard to miss. Now, like I said, I'm not sure what designated what got a Carter, what got a four-jet, what even got a, and what got a Quadrajet in '76. That was kind of a split year. But it helps to know before you go to the parts store which carburetor you have. We can see Rochester four-jet right there, and like I said, this is only the second one of these I've ever worked on. So rebuilding carbs really isn't all that scary, especially if you don't get into a rush and you can pay attention to what order things are going in. So the first thing I like to do when I rebuild these things is take off any of this extra stuff that's gonna get in your way while you're rebuilding it. So let's get our stud out of there. Let's get our heat riser popped off. We can put that back on later. Let's tighten this other fitting while we're at it. These are brass fittings. You've got to be really gentle with them. If you try to get them too tight, you're gonna crack them. And then we had this little vacuum pot that controls idle. That stud on it's pretty stiff, so I don't know if the vacuum diaphragm's any good. So we're gonna take our standard screwdriver. We're gonna get this vacuum pot off of here and see if we can get away with not using it. That's an add-on by somebody, it sure looks like. That big old machine screw. Yeah, we're gonna ixnay this dude. I think they're just mainly used when it's cold to keep the idle high, but somebody can explain this better to me. I've seen them actuate before. I've got cars that they work, but I'm not so sure we need it. Ooh, gosh darn, that little nut was sitting right there. Wonder what the heck that came off of. Oh, that was on the back side of this little screw for some reason. I felt it come off. Yeah, there's some goofy stuff going on there. And then we'll cut our zip tie for our choke cable. Our choke can do whatever it wants to do now. We'll see if it works or not. I think it's got about a 50-50 chance, but it'd be nice to have it have the ability to be closed while it's warming up. All right. That's pretty much it for extra stuff. Now, bring it over to your trash can. Hold it upside down and get all that gas out of it. Dang, do you see how yellow that stuff was? I really hope I remember where this goes. Leads me to my next point. While we're staring right at it, let's shine some light on the situation. Let's get our phones out. And we're going to take a picture of how the linkage goes together, because we're going to have to take this off. We might have to take something off on the other side too. Yeah, that. And it's important just to know the correct orientation that all these rods go together, because they can really fight you. Okay, let's see what else we can do. So our first order of business needs to be getting the top off of this. We've got this pin that's about to leave already. That is for our accelerator pump diaphragm. Here's our accelerator pump arm. We can leave the arm in place, even though we can take it off easily if we want, but it's got these goofy little clamps on this linkage rod that we're probably just gonna mangle, because the kit should come with new ones. There they are. They're a little horseshoe looking piece, and they just squeeze together with pliers. So we can relieve the arm there, and then we need to do the same on the passenger side. How do we have this thing situated? Ooh, we've got a staple or something holding it on up top. So we can definitely get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, that's what held that on, just a bent piece of wire. Cool. And we can leave the other end of the choke connected. Now that should be everything. Take your standard screwdriver, unscrew all the screws, and try to keep the Ooh, gosh, look at all that. Chock full of JB weld. You want to try to keep the orientation of the screws in order in case some are longer than the others. So I got all the screws laid out in the same order that they came out front to back. Not that it matters because they're all the same length, but hey, we didn't know that when we started taking it apart. Try to break the top loose. It's hard to do with one hand. Make sure we're not missing any screws. We aren't. We just need to find a spot to pry. Hey, don't get too carried away. I think that's the only hidden one we have. Made sense it was there since we had these two in the middle on the passenger side and nothing on the driver's side. Yeah, that really would have played us if we would have tried any harder to get the top off. There we go. You want to try to pull it straight up so that you don't disrupt any of the float heights. There we go. Let's look at something just for fun. So if you'll notice, the bottom of the floats are pretty much level with the ground. Now the back one, the secondary, is dropped lower than the primary, but the bottoms of the floats are basically parallel with the ground, which is generally what you want to see. That's indicative that our float height is set correctly. All right. Here's a look inside the petticoats. Looks pretty good all in all. There's some gunk in there, probably some rust from the fuel tank or the fuel lines, but really not all that complicated. So let's try to get anything out of here that wants to fall out if we tip it upside down. First one being our accelerator pump spring, and then next we can take off, I believe these are called our boosters. And again, you kind of want to keep all the hardware with them in case some screws are longer than the other. Nothing is terribly tight in here, which is a good sign. You know, everything with all the screws so far have been snug, but somebody really didn't heave on them and strip them out, so that's a good sign. Everything's coming out nicely so far. That gasket doesn't look like it quite fits correctly. So I've got all the screws loose. I'm just gonna put my screwdriver between the body and the boosters, and that kind of pops it loose from the base with the gasket. Well, we've got gaskets double stacked. Is that what I'm seeing? It appears that way. Maybe that might just be black from the old gasket, but that old gasket was poking way out in the front. It was running into this. So maybe we'll see if our kit has a gasket that fits a little bit better. Do the same thing here. Yeah, the inside of this carb really isn't that bad. It doesn't look like they were running ethanol fuel. If these carbs sit with ethanol fuel in them, then they tend to get this white film buildup in them that's really kind of hard to remove. If you're running your car every day, going through a lot of tanks of gas, and it's carbureted, you can probably get away with running E10 in it, but if it's going to sit for any amount of time, I really don't recommend it. So here we have our boosters oriented in the same way that they came out. The next thing that we're going to lose here is this little hold down, this little T-bar. It comes out of here. I think this is our check ball for our accelerator pump. There's the spring, and then at the very bottom I probably can't get it out with a magnet. Should be a check ball. I don't believe there's going to be a check ball anywhere else, but I've still got some gas in here. I'm going to hold my finger over that hole. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe how heavy this thing is with a big old cast iron base on it. I'm trying to get the gas out of here so I don't spill it all over the top of my toolbox. Okay, so that check ball should come out of the center there. There it is. All right, so we'll keep all that stuff together. Like I said, that check ball comes out of the center port right here. So between here and here, well, how can I say? This is for the accelerator pump here. That's where the pump goes, and it's fed by this cavity here through this little screen. It goes into here, and then it squirts out of the boosters, the front booster, through this passage. And then I think out here, yep, you can see the two squirters right there. So that's a little squirt of fuel when you hit the pump. As far as everything else goes, I think that we can leave it be. Let me try this. See if this is a gasket or if it's just, it may just be a, yeah, it's just a machined surface. Okay, so we did not have gaskets double stacked. That's good. And I think that's all I'm going to worry about removing, really. So we will just give this thing a good bath over the trash can with carb cleaner, just enough to spray all the gunk out of there, and then run your spaghetti straw and your carb cleaner through all of these little passages, make sure that it's squirting out on the other side, and then take air to all of the passages and make sure the passages are clear and blown out. All right, don't think anything else is gonna fall off. Don't get this stuff in your eyes. It really hurts pretty incredibly. Almost forgot, I want to take this spring off here so I don't lose that in the trash can. And I'm just washing all the brown stuff out of the bottom of the bowls. This thing seriously weighs probably 5 pounds. Then just run your spaghetti straw into all the holes. Make sure they're free of obstruction. It's not rocket science by any means, folks. Anybody can do this. You don't have to be afraid. You can't be afraid your whole life, right? Those jets at the bottom are going to be a little harder to get to. That's a good sign. Yeah, please, please, please don't get this in your eyes. You're going to have a bad time. Sweet. Then just spray out all the other holes, and then we're gonna blow them out with air. Ooh, look, a spider. Make sure you get the spiders out of your carburetor too. I just sprayed off the outside with carb cleaner and some air, and check it out, it looks brand new. We also need to do this base plate gasket. Hopefully we don't have to take anything on the sides apart as far as the linkage goes. We're gonna try it. We'll see if we can get away with it. It's strange, a lot of these have been replaced with Phillips screws. I'm gonna venture to guess this thing had a kit put in it not all that long ago. Yeah, these aren't terribly tight by any means. Like I said, we're not gonna mess with the float level. I probably won't even mess with the idle mixture. I really don't have any complaints as to how it runs. It just does not have an accelerator pump, and we need that in order to start the thing. But as soon as it starts running, it seems to run great. So it looks like we just have these 4 machine screws now. Oh yeah, let's not lose that lock washer. So the smaller screws had lock washers on them. So does the big screw in the center. There we go. Comes right off. Get that out of the way far enough to put a different gasket in it. I don't think we're gonna have to clean any of the surfaces so long as everything comes off in one piece. Sweet. Alrighty, got the base on, and then the same thing with these boosters. All you really got to do is make sure your passages are clean, make sure that your squirters work, just blow everything out with carb cleaner and air, and then take your old gasket, match it up with the new one. The bodies of these carbs are really soft, so you don't want to get carried away with getting these screws really tight. And you want to make sure you get all of them started hand tight first. And then what I like to do is, when it comes to stuff like this, start in the center, work your way out, and just keep going back and forth until the screws aren't loose anymore. You don't want to put a lot of torque on these either. You just want to make sure they're snug. So I'm going to go back to the center one now. Get this hair out of there. And it's probably a little loose because I've got clamp load on the sides now. Yeah, I can get a little more out of the center. Then I'm going to do the sides. And we're good. Man, I about made a boo-boo. Almost forgot to put my check ball back in there. So let's make sure that my new one is the same size, and it's not. So how about this other one? The other one's not right either. Well, we're just going to shine up the old one. Put it back in. Where's our spring? There's our spring. Does our spring match? Yeah, new spring matches. Okay, well, we'll just shine up our old ball. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. Just want to get the junk off of it so it's slickery again. We'll drop them back in. There we go. Oh man, I turned my 2 springs into 1 spring. Leave it to me. Just kidding, I found another bag with the right spring in it. I meant ball. We got our new ball in there. We'll put our new spring in and get our little T-piece that goes in the spring. And then you can see little notches that the bars go into. Barely. We'll get that wrestled in and then put our gasket and our boosters back on. Boosters back in, and before we have time to forget, we'll get our accelerator pump spring shoved back in there, and it fits in a groove in there, so just push it down with your finger and then it'll snap into its groove. So here's why our accelerator pump won't work. This plastic rubber diaphragm is really, really brittle now. So then it doesn't swell up and create suction against that. So yeah, it's basically cracking in my hands. We'll get it cut off and we'll put the new one on. Yeah, check out how it just cracks and crumbles. It's all brittle. I've got some O-ring grease here. You can use petroleum jelly or really anything of this kind of consistency. I just don't want to tear this guy when I'm getting it slid on. Alright, so we've got our diaphragm cut off of our old, not our diaphragm. We have our old O-ring cut off We gotta slide our new one on. And this little cone here doesn't quite fit my accelerator pump, so I'm worried that I'm not gonna be able to get it slid on there. That kind of sucks. Yeah, that's what I got. I don't think I have another cone either. It's too bad. Why would they do this to me? Yeah, normally that cone is supposed to sit flush, but today it's not. Let's see if we can sneak it on the sides. What is that junk? I don't know. This doesn't have a little spring to go behind it. You want to be careful because this plastic, this white plastic here, gets brittle over time. You don't want to crack it. There we go. We got him now. All right, and then we've got the little hat that goes over top, but we're not going to put that on quite yet because we need to replace our needle and seats on our top here. So we got to slide these pins out that hold our floats. We'll keep our orientation all the same here. How do we get that guy out? There we go. So that spring went like that. Of course, I can't watch back on the dang GoPro because I'm not that intelligent. I haven't figured that part out yet. Oh, Jeffrey. I'd assume it goes like that. It doesn't, I couldn't tell if it was like that, but I assume it goes that way. That's what we're gonna do. All right, we got our gasket off. Check out that JB weld that made its way through. Ain't that great? I don't want to get too carried away with prying it off, but we'll at least get the loose stuff. Cool. All right, we got a matching gasket for this guy. We have two options. Or do we? Okay, so we've got these two. Looks like we've got that one. All right, we discard that. Put those off to the side. Take our needles out. There's really not much going on up top here. We got our needles out. We're gonna see if our screwdriver is big enough to get that out. Barely. So there's our seat. The gasket came with it. That's good. Let's try the same thing on the back here. Screwdriver's not quite long enough. All right, there's our seat. Gasket came with. Good. Here's our new needle and seat. These are the same numbers. Different part numbers. Interesting. I don't suppose these are gonna tell us what number they are. No. Well, right, wrong, or otherwise, we got a 31-523 and a -526. I'm going to put the 526 on the front bowl, the 523 on the back. Again, don't quote me. I got no idea what I'm doing here. I'll be the first to say it. Well, we've even got two gasket options. That's wild. Are they the same thing? They're different thickness. And our old ones had the thinner of the two gaskets, so that's what we'll replace it with, right, wrong, or otherwise. Make sure that's tight. All right, then we'll put our needle in there so we don't lose track of what needle goes where. And in this case, the old ones didn't have the little hanger clips on them. I wonder if that's an option here. It looks like we could put them on. Let's try it. Get our needle back, and then just loop the clip. Then put the little hanger dude on. Bring up this collar so that goes underneath. Yeah, that looks like that's gonna work. Then one thing I like to do is clean up these pins. You want them to be shiny so they can move, or so that the float can move nicely. You don't want to give the float a chance to hang up on anything. Got ahead of myself again. Why do I keep doing that? Okay, so right now we can get that little rubber hat out of there. Put our new one in. I forgot to put the gasket on. I'm sure somebody was yelling at me. As much as I'd like to, I can't hear you. All right, gasket's on. Put needle in. Tell you what, I'm famously bad at multitasking, so the fact that I can talk to you at all while I'm doing this is just outstanding. I'd like to be better. I'm probably getting better, but it's hard. And I don't do this every day, so. Like Mr. Rogers says, I'm not very good, but it's okay. Put our hanger on. Drop them in. Get our holes lined up. Wham bam. So now we need to put our accelerator pump through. There we are. I think that's it for that. All right. I'm gonna flip it like this, not sideways, so that our hinge pins don't fall out. Now we lined up our accelerator pump. Oh, cool, we've got these little alignment dowels. Oh wait, no we don't. That's not supposed to be there. I got a hole in my gasket that's not knocked out. There you go, you little devil. All right, line up your pump, line up your floats. Now, we can put all of our screws back in. My order got messed up because I'm a dummy and blew the air hose right at it. That's all right. It's not like it really matters here. Here we go. We'll get that guy situated. Cool. Now we've got pump action. Feels nice and fluid. Run your top screws in. I'm gonna get my perimeter, I guess my corner screws just snugged and seated so that I know that the gasket and everything is in the right orientation. Nothing's gonna fight us when we go to tighten down the rest of them. The arm for our accelerator pump fights us in this corner, but it's okay. We'll just use a smaller screwdriver. All right, now in a situation like this, you kind of want to tighten your bolts like you're trying to flatten out a piece of paper. You start in the middle and work your way out, basically. So it's not super crucial in this case. If you're doing like a head gasket, it's very crucial. But this, I'm probably going to start here and go here, here, and then work my way around. All right, now let's get all of our little linkage rods put back in place. Let's go back to our pictures. Okay, so that goes in the far back arm, and there's one of these little hairpins that holds it in. I think it had one of them son of a gun difficult ones actually, but the little hairpin style ones are easier to put on. So we're gonna go with that. All right. Yeah, I think it's just the two of them. It's easy. Is that too big? Yeah, that one's too big. Find another smaller black one. Sweet, we got a working choke now, maybe, hopefully. All right, then we got our air filter stud put in. We've got a return spring. We're not gonna use our vacuum pot and see where that gets us. And then we need our heat riser for our choke, which we left somewhere. We'll find it. All right, let's slam this thing back on. Goodness, check that out. It's all lathered in red silicone. Why do people do this? All right, which way did you come off? Does it matter? Like that. We don't need that one. Hot dog. All right, before we get carried away, we want to make sure that our heat riser is in its home. Make sure you get a bunch of mouse poop on your carb threads. There you go. And get your bolts started. All right, we got all our carb bolts in. Hook up our heat riser. And again, you just gotta get this snug. You don't have to get it super tight, or else you'll crack that nut. Okay, I think we had a vacuum line on the back. Yep. Hook our vacuum line back up. Then we had this transmission bracket, and then that was held on by the end of this spring. There we go. Then we've got our throttle. And our fuel. Not bad, eh? Well, I'll get the key. We'll try to get this thing fired up, see what happens. This seat has a bunch of yellow dust foam coming out of it, and boy is it annoying. All right. So we're gonna turn our key on. So the pump is priming. The pitch of the pump just changed. So it should be primed, the carb should be. We'll do one to set the choke. There we go. Not too bad. Nothing's overflowing. I'll watch it to see if the choke comes open. Yeah, so our choke is staying shut, which is causing a goofy idle. It could be a handful of things. We may have too much fuel pressure. Well, the fuel pressure wouldn't be causing that, but I see it's a little wet here, and I'm wondering if our fuel pressure is a little much. We're blowing by the needle and seat. We don't have a pressure regulator in line right now. But if we hold the choke open, the thing just runs great. It's just idling a little high. But we got something I want to fix really badly, and it's the power steering or the lack thereof. Yeah, the reservoir's plumb full. That's a good sign. Let's kill it. We'll throw a belt on this thing. Great, so our extra long belt is too wide, but the right one is like light years away. So we're just kind of gonna go for it. If it pitches the belt, well, I'd rather have it pitch it here than somewhere else. Check that out. What a concept. It's only a little wobbly. Just don't stand right here and you'll be fine. Don't recommend this. Let's plug our blow-by tube back in so nobody can see that. Until you shut it off, and then it all pours out the front. Cool. Well, I think we're, oh yeah, we're not ready. We got to overcome this. So that's just plumb missing. So it's got 2 vertical slots. Let's see what this pre-removed trunk lid has going on. Hey, it's got the same latch. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna dig this thing out. It weighs like 100 pounds for some reason. Get that latch off. Hey, cool, this car has door glass. I had somebody asking me about that. Well, I guess I can sell it now. Hot dog. I grew a brain and decided to look in the trunk, and by God, I found the latch. Get him jammed in there. Get all this other junk thrown back in, and then, ooh, we'll dig that fender extension out and put it on. So is it true? Do I really only have one fender extension? Huh, afraid so. Well, there goes the value of this car. Oh, that's why. Well, it works. I must need to get this down lower. Got it. It looks like such a car now. So that'll be that side. All right. I'm pretty bummed out that those hubcaps aren't right, but you know, what do you do? Well, it's another cool foggy morning, nice and wet. What a great day to wash this car. We're gonna do the old David Freiberger Comet wash, see if we can get some shine back into this paint. But first thing, we're gonna take our degreaser, give our entire engine bay a bath, make all of this look brand new, or at least a little less dingy. I'm sure that between the humidity in the air and the bath this engine is about to take, there's no way that it's gonna start again. It's okay. We'll just have to do the old dollar bill trick on the points. Wish I could find a way to fill that reservoir full of tire shine. That'd make this thing look really nice. Tell you what, that already looks a lot better. A little water went a long ways. I hope that's steam and not oil burning off, but I don't know. Doesn't really matter, right? Alright, we'll get it pulled back in and do the rest of the car. So this is a single stage paint job, meaning there is no clear coat to it. I'm not sure what kind of paint the paint is. It might be lacquer, I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I know anything here. It's not lacquer checked, so I don't think it's lacquer. But at any rate, it's extremely dull, very oxidized. You can see where it's wet. The paint's supposed to be more of that darker color, not this lighter color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash it just like I'd wash any other car and rinse it off. And then I'm gonna put some Comet in the water. Well, actually, I'm not gonna put it in the water. I'm gonna sprinkle it on the car, and then we're gonna act like we're washing it again, but we're actually gonna be scrubbing the whole car with Comet, trying to get this dirty oxidation off of there. I really can't complain. It's Nebraska, it's the morning, it's late December, and I'm washing a car with the door open. All right. We'll just wet him down. Start scrubbing on him. Well, just washing this thing is making a big difference. I can't wait to see what the Comet does. Oh, this sucker is grody. Wonder how long it sat outside. Well, that definitely shows how oxidized the paint was. Look at all the paint that came off when we were washing it. Wow. Yeah, that's all paint. So near as I understand it, just goes something like this. Our car's gonna smell so nice. I don't know if it's too much or not enough. I probably should have bought another sponge to sacrifice. I don't think the Comet wash is gonna do a lot on the roof here. It's pretty bad, but whatever, we'll do it anyways. We're here, right? Here goes nothing. That feels like a adequate amount of Comet. You can definitely tell there's some grit in there. I'll get down on the B pillar. Why not? I can't wait to see what this does to the hood. I can't really tell if it's bringing color back up here or not. We probably won't be able to tell. I don't know, at least the B pillar looks shinier. You can tell that we're getting paint off this thing, that's for sure. Probably should have left the roof alone, but oh well. This is where we're gonna start making the difference. How much Comet does a 64 Oldsmobile 98 take? I bet it's a lot. I bought 2 of these, hope it's enough. It's not gonna be enough. I'm gonna have to go to my house and steal it from my wife. Really don't know how long you're supposed to scrub this for. Ooh, gross. It feels really slick now, like it was wet sanded. That's cool. Wow. Well, supposed to do the hood and the rest of the car. Well, I'd say that it's a little abrasive. Good, that's exactly what we wanted. In case you're wondering, one tube of Comet does exactly the roof, the hood, roof, hood, and trunk of an Olds 98. Well, I'll try to use less on the sides so that we can make it all the way through. Well, it's not shiny by any means, but it's a lot less scuzzy. We got all the grime off of it. So I think our next step, we're gonna do a heavy buff on it is what we're gonna do. We're gonna use some heavy compound and kind of a coarse foam pad and go over all of this stuff quickly. And I think that's gonna bring the shine back. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know anything about buffing. I just know it's kind of worked for me. And on this, I think we're gonna need a fair amount of compound because we've got a lot of oxidization to take off. Normally you just put, you know, 4 dots on your wheel and do a 2x2 square. But we're gonna have to be a little more aggressive. So I've got some dots on there. I've got this green Bauer Harbor Freight buffing wheel on this DA polisher, and I've got it turned down to about 1.5, and we're gonna hit it. Basically was going over it until the compound starts to dry. And we've got shiny spots, but this hood is so blotchy that we're probably not going to be able to achieve uniform color. Feels like I need a little bit more. I'm going to try to get it evened out, but at least it's starting to get a shine to it. So I've been using more compound, and I turned my speed up to about 2.5. Getting a lot better results now. I'm trying to be semi-careful on the edges because this paint is thin. And in areas like this, it's really easy to burn through, but I'm getting some shine back. I'm getting pretty happy with this. It's hard to tell, but we've got way more shine on that side than this side. I'm not sure if we're gonna get that big blotch out. Probably not, but it's looking more uniform. Yeah, we've got the same blotch going on over here too. It's looking more uniform. It's looking a lot shinier. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of the cream colored part of the car and we'll see how it turns out. I know it's hard to tell, but this is a lot better. You can actually see a reflection in the paint now. Prior to this, it was all just kind of flat like a piece of chalk. She's got some sheen though. Fun fact, when you're buffing, you may as well hit the trim on this stuff, because that buffing wheel does a really great job of polishing it, and it really beats doing it by hand. So while I got it out, I'm gonna hit the bumpers and the lower rocker trim, really make it pop. I did this spot on the B panel here with the buffer just for fun, and I don't think it helped at all. So we're gonna find something else to put on the roof. I hate saying the phrase like shine sauce or patina sauce, but we're gonna do something like that on it, give it a little bit of a sheen and kind of play on the patina look. As much as I hate to say it, I mean, we can't make it any better. We may as well embrace it, right? Yeah, when I hit it here, all it kind of did was turn the rust pits kind of a white color. It's hard to tell, but it mainly just filled in the voids with wax. So I think we're just gonna try to shine on it, but the rest of the car looks really, really good. I'm happy for what little effort that took. You know, I've got, shoot, 4 hours into this thing with buffing, just buffing, I suppose, but well worth it. Makes the car a lot more appealing. All right, I'm gonna hit the trim and the bumpers. Not bad, boys and girls. I'm happy. I checked the fluids. Brake fluid's not going anywhere. Antifreeze looks suspect, but it's still full. I added 2 quarts of ATF. Well, a quart of Lucas and a quart of ATF. So hopefully we've got more solid engagement, but otherwise we got 10 gallons of fuel. I think we're ready to go take a rip. We're still on our extra marginal tires, so I hope that we live. I think I've got brake hardware hanging up, but it only sounds that way in reverse, so Park, neutral, drive. It only sounds like it's hanging up in reverse, so I'm not gonna be too worried about it. I think the thing wants to drive me to the left really, really badly. What's our mirror doing? Hanging in there. Our safety sentinel's gonna turn on pretty soon. Ooh, there's second. It's not a good second, but it's a second. This is the, well, I guess, second vehicle I've driven with this transmission that acts really funky when it shifts. I think it's, yeah, this is a Slim Jim transmission too, and we had, I guess I had the same complaint with that green blue 64 Catalina. When it changed gears really hard and weird. Like, I feel like we're in 3rd gear already and we only have 4 gears. We weren't in 2nd very long, that's for sure. Come on, baby. Once it gets into the gear, it's okay, but it's the shifting going up to it that it's really, really rough. I'm gonna feel kind of bad taking this clean car on this dirt road after it rained, but it's just kind of gonna keep raining for a few days. Really hope this thing doesn't make me walk home. I gotta say, this is almost the worst that I've felt about driving one of these things. You know, once you get to going, it's okay, but it's while it's shifting gears and trying to figure out where it needs to be, it's really bad. We're going 35. I don't want to push it much more than that because our tires are really, really bad. But you know, you want to get a feel for the drivetrain. Normally this road is awful when it rains, so we'll see how it treats us. It's running okay. dummy lights are on, and I think they work because when we turn the key on, all the lights come on, and the cold light does go off. Wish I could tell which gear we were in right now. These transmissions, there's so much adjustment into the linkage that I don't understand. So maybe we just need to adjust our linkage, but I'm not very well versed on that. I wish there was somebody around that could kind of train me on it, because I can't make sense of what's going on in the book. I don't quite comprende. We don't have a generator light, an oil light, or a hot light. I think we're gonna make it. It's a weird day in December, man. It's the 27th, and it's like 44 degrees out. It's shifting better now. I think we're gonna be okay. I would almost trust this thing if we had good tires. Another thing you really got to watch with this carburetor linkage on these carbs is the fact that sometimes I'd like to hold themselves wide open if the linkage isn't nice and lubricated. It's happened, and it's not any fun when it happens. Power steering feels nice. This thing must not have any working shocks. It feels like we're on a boat. Now it seems to be shifting good. I think it's coming out of it. We'll see how it acts when we get up onto the pavement here. I can't tell if the steam is just because it's wet in here, or if we have a heater core taking a dump on us. One would be as likely as the other. We didn't check to see if our antenna works. We better check that. All right, can we come to a whoa? Blinker? We got no blinker switch action. Be honest, I don't think we have taillights that work either. It cancels. I can't tell if I hear the fan or a tire going flat. Our valve noise seems to have gone away, so we have that going for us. I have a lot of faith in this engine. I'm starting to get faith in the transmission too. Thing still wants to idle high. I wonder if that has anything to do with our choke troubles. Something's not 100% in the the carburetor, but it's still running. Not bad, eh? I don't know what that buzzing sound is. Frankly, I'm not really going to worry about it. No smoke! Which is outstanding considering we did absolutely nothing to the ignition besides put 2 plug wires on it and slap the points around. right, park, neutral, drive. Let's get a window down, shall we? Look at that. We got a little transmission slip. It might be a little low on fluid still. Brakes are hanging in there. All's well. Second. I can't really tell what gear it's in. We may have started later too, but point being, when it shifted well. I'd take it faster, but I'm a little leery. The engine feels really, really smooth though. It didn't cough or bog or anything. Guess it helps when you're starting out at 1,000, 1,200 RPMs already. First. Ooh, big pothole. Second. Third, maybe? I don't know. It shifts really, really smooth now. Look at me, I'm starting to get a little hope in this thing. Our goofy noise when we were backing up may have had to do with our drums just being rusty. And now we're kind of cleaning the surface off. Second. Yeah, it's acting a lot better now. There's third at least. Now it's shifting really smooth. That's good, that's good. I'd feel a lot better about turning somebody loose with this thing now. Yeah, it's got really good power. I don't want it to diesel when I shut it off, because with it being warm and the idle being high, it might want to keep running after we kill the ignition. So I think if I keep it in gear when I shut it off, it probably won't diesel. Nope, we're good. Well, there you have it. Here's our budget transformation. So into this car, we have the purchase price. I can't remember what it was now. It wasn't very much, I don't think. I'd have to check this thing. We bought this probably a year and a half ago. So aside from the purchase price, we have an electric fuel pump for 40 bucks, a carb kit for 30, 40, a belt, and gas. Oh, and our polishing compound and everything, but really not that much. So even you can do a budget transformation like this for very little money, as long as you know you're willing to not get a Chevelle, a Camaro, a Nova, a Challenger. You're gonna have to settle a little bit, but all in all, we are less than, I would safely say, $2,500 into a car that runs and drives and actually looks pretty good and does its thing. This thing's gonna get attention. And honestly, it's a solid car that runs good, and there's appeal to that. Anything this old is a head turner anymore, so there's no excuses, folks. For just a little bit of work and a little bit of money, you can take the old lady out to the burger stand on the weekend in something cool. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody. I can't believe I'm at 1 million views. Please like, subscribe, let me know how you feel about this car, and we're gonna have a lot more in the future. Thanks again.